A pleasant good evening and welcome to SAT TV's Channel 9 Evening News. I am your presenter, Larry LaRock. Thank you for joining us. Among the major developments, former Health Minister passes away. OECS celebrates 31st anniversary in Toronto. One fed dead in Canada shopping center accident. Signman All-Stars captures All-Ireland Football League. Details of these and other stories after the break.
Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Ltd, the people's choice. Join hands with us. Come and sign up for your digital TV connection today. We got the sharpest, cleanest, brightest digital TV connection. No antiquated analog service, only pure digital and many new packages coming soon. With latest in sports, movies, children programming and much more. So if you have your flat screen TV and you want to see quality TV, join now. Sign up today for your digital television. Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Ltd, the people's choice. SAT Telecoms Ltd has obtained the exclusive rights to the 2012 Olympic Games held in the United Kingdom, and these games are the largest in history to date. The impact of these games will bring millions of viewers to the television screen. SAT Telecommunications is a supporter of the Olympics, and in extension, we support the sportsmen and the women of Dominica. Join hands with SAT Telecommunications Ltd and support our sportsmanship. Gold sponsorships at $20,000, silver at $10,000 and bronze at $5,000.
Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. In a recent meeting of the Alliance for the Peoples of Our America, ALBA, Dominica, along with Bolivia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Ecuador and Venezuela, signed an agreement requesting that the United States immediately expel the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and its delegates or representatives from their countries, due to the fact that they consider their presence and actions to constitute an interference which threatens the sovereignty and the stability of the nations. The agreement also stated, given the open interference of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, in the internal politics of the ALBA countries, under the excuse of planning and administering economic humanitarian assistance for the whole world outside the United States, also financing non-governmental organizations and actions and projects designed to destabilize the legitimate governments which do not share their common interests. Given that this intervention of a foreign country in the international politics of a country, it is contrary to the internal legislation of each nation. However, leader of the United Workers' Party, Honorable Edison James, says, if this is indeed true, it reflects a marked deterioration in the relationship between Dominica and the United States of America.
This is coming on the heels of the description by the Dominican Labour Party regime of the American embassy personnel in Barbados as rum drinkers, people who drink rum, Monge rum, and stay in Barbados and call some foolish people in Dominica and Antigua and St. Vincent and get foolish reports from them. It's also in the context of the recent donation by the Dominican Labour Party regime of 2 bottles of Bois-Bandé to the American ambassador when he was involved in presenting these 2 boats.
Mr. James says this is a clear pattern of hostility aimed at the United States of America from the Labour Party government, which is unacceptable, since it can result in a major blow to Dominica's economy.
When we reflect that we have a lot of Dominicans living and working in America who send back their remittances to us. We have the tourism industry, the cruise ship sector, which comprises in large measure Americans. We have Ross University Medical School along here, again an American institution. So Dominicans, I think, have to be concerned about that, the impact of that apparent hostility to the Americans on our economy. And so we are asking the Dominica Labour Party regime to clarify to the people what the position is.
Mr. James pointed out that surrogates of the Dominica Labour Party have been trying to downplay this issue, saying that Dominica did not sign on the agreement, but there is evidence that Dominica did sign on.
Mr. Skerritt is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the reports indicate that the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Dominica or his representative was involved in this decision to expel the United States Agency for International Development from Dominica, and I think it is important for the Dominican people to get answers as to what is the real situation. After all, we've been told that a vibrant democracy demands of its people to ask questions and to get answers. So we're waiting to see whether this is indeed a vibrant democracy.
Mr. James says there is hostility between Dominica and the United States. We Dominicans are the one who will suffer, and we all need to be concerned as to what is going on in this agreement.
The point is that Dominica must seek to benefit from, all sources that are legitimate and above board from which it can benefit. We have to position ourselves to be able to deal with these countries, to be able to export to them, to be able to derive benefits from whatever relationships that are, as I said, legitimate and above board. So it's not a question of one against the other, but there is the question of us, getting our priorities right.
Mr. James went on to say that Mr. Skerritt needs to be more transparent on the decision that he makes, and they should always be in the best interest of Dominica and its citizens. The Maho Environment Protection and Enhancement Project was officially launched on June 23rd, where residents of Maho gathered at the teaser grounds to witness the unveiling of the bins as well as tree planting. Chairperson of the Maho Village Council, Mrs. Annette John Stedman, says the aim of this project is to enhance the community. She says there is a need to increase the greening and beautification of the community.
The objective of the project as follows. 1. To increase education and awareness of environmental problems and positive action through public awareness. 2. Contribute to the proper management of garbage disposal through the community to ensure a safe and healthy environment. 3. Establishment of a community recreational park in Maho and other green spaces and recreational spots throughout the community. Zaman Beach Park, which you all know about, is an ongoing project of the Maho Jimitaru Village Council.
Mrs. Stedman says so far the committee has organized 2 educational discussions on disaster management, climate change in Maho and Taru.
To date, we have had a major cleanup with white goods disposal and cleanup of the playing field and planting of flowers around the field in Taru. We have cleaned the 2 back streets in Maho, planted flowers and organized a mini park. White goods collection in Belfast, Jimit Maho, and general sidewalk maintenance in Belfast. We have also continued planting in the Zaman Beach area.
National Coordinator of the Small Grants Program, SGP, Ms. Agnes Esprit, adding that this will serve as an example to others whenever they see the bins as well as the cleanliness of the site.
With the Jeff Small Grants Program, our projects are supposed to be replicable. That means other communities should be able to copy what you're doing. So don't get offended if you see other communities pick up, because that's what we are supposed to be doing, to ensure that we have successful projects that make an impact, and other communities within the country and globally can think and get interested in replicating your project. And I can tell you already I have requests from 4 other communities.
Ms. Esri believes that the trees are what make the community beautiful.
And the more of the trees you have, the more breeze you have, the cooler you keep the earth, you contribute to a cooler, fresher environment. And again, it's healthy. So we want to again compliment the village council, compliment those who are participating, and we can see a difference. Lots of people call and they say, oh, they see Maho looks so different. All this pile of garbage and the garbage loose all over the place when the truck doesn't come. So at least we are making a difference.
The Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development is pleased to announce the release of the 2012 Grade 6 National Assessment results. This year, some 1,191 students, which included 601 boys and 590 girls, wrote the examinations. Minister for Education Honorable Peter Seja expressed that this is an exciting moment when you can break the news of the results to the country.
From what we are seeing, I think that the performance has been, to a very great extent, satisfactory, given that in most subject areas, students were able to score just about 60%. I wish at this moment to congratulate and commend, first of all, the top performing students. We have 5 students whose names the chief will disclose in a moment, who performed at the very top of the exams, and they must be congratulated. I want also to commend the parents of those students who have worked with them, not just at grade 6, but from the very day that they were born.
The top performers in the 2012 examinations were Selina Packet of the St. Martin's Primary School, Karen Williams, also from the St. Martin's Primary School, Omondi McIntyre from the Pioneer Preparatory School, Kelma Roll from the St. Martin's Primary, and Keishon Peter from the St. John's School. Mr. Seja especially wants to applaud the parents of the top performers for not only helping the students for their exams, but training them from since the day they were born, culminating with such a fruitful outcome.
Because the process starts once that child is born, throughout his early childhood, the formative years, and into primary school. And I want to call on parents to recognize that their responsibility does not stop at the grade 6 national exams, but that they must continue working with those students throughout high school and indeed at the college level.
He mentioned that this is very clear that some teachers make an extra effort to help their students, and it continues even when they are transferred to different schools. These teachers must be commended for their tremendous effort. However, he is disappointed in a small percentage of boys with low-level performance, which is a serious concern for the Ministry of Education.
Because when compared to the girls, we see that the females are outperforming their male counterparts. The results seem to indicate that it has to do a whole lot with the reading, the performance in reading. It tells us clearly that reading is key to the success of any students. Students who did well after 3 years of primary school, they do well at the grade 6 national assessment. They continue to do well at secondary and at the college level.
Scholars will receive $500 for textbooks and stationery, and bursars will receive $300. The Ministry of Education would like to thank all those who were involved in the grade 6 national assessment, to the members of the subject committees, teachers who wrote the examinations, and those who monitored the conduct of the exams. The Pottersville Youth Sports Academy PYSA held its third award ceremony on Saturday, June 23rd. Director of the PYSA, Mr. Simpson Gregoire, says the reason the ceremony was transferred from December to June was to ensure that it was in line with the end of the school year.
While at the end of the school year, the kids were being recognized for the schoolwork, we find it was appropriate to recognize the kids for the year they have spent with us and some of the leadership qualities and discipline that they are displayed over the year.
People who were awarded based on their discipline and leadership skills were coaches, soccer moms, and players who were all recognized and awarded for their roles played. Mr. Gregoire believes that it is because of them the academy is where it is today.
The academy has 60 active players on its roster of 105 names, ranging from ages 6 to 17. What we have seen over the year, 100% of our academy high school players are currently participating in the football for the respective schools in the division organized by the sports division. So what I'm saying here is the academy has 100% of the high school players representing the school.
President of the Dominica Olympic Committee, Mr. Thomas Dawson, gives details about the new and improved program.
We have just about introduced a youth role model program, and most of the students, most of the young ones of the academy are part of that program. And it is another level, it's a different level from sports to mentorship to a role model program that you will be hearing more about. It's island-wide. We have formed 12 districts, and the Goodwill district, that's where the academy, this academy is associated with.
Sports coordinator Mr. Udi John says the programs are necessary for both players and coaches.
That for sport to be developed from a long-term perspective, for an effect on both the player, the society, and the sport itself, that grassroots programs like these are what is necessary. And so I would like to congratulate Mr. Simpson Gregoire, Director, and the other founders of this sports academy for your efforts in effecting such change in society.
John Fabian lived a life of public service primarily in health. Upon leaving high school, Mr. Fabian has been in the public services as a sanitary inspector, later known as a health inspector. John Fabian died on Friday, June 22, 2012 at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Mr. Fabian grew up in the community of Benz and first worked in the Viecas village area as a sanitary inspector, where he remembered walking through the valleys and up mountains to get to people's homes to talk to them about sanitation, at which time no one had toilets.
I recognize that if you get into the field and you start talking to people, you understand the situations, you see the lives of the people, you see what really gets them to move. You understand the forces at work in their lives. You understand why is it that people would want to live in squalor, why people live in squalor, because they probably don't have the means to get out of this situation. And we saw that over time. I could look at the periods in my life in the public and saw how people's life improved when things changed.
At the time, people saw health as only something for medical personnel, but Mr. Fabian made it clear that what changed people's health statuses are the public health measures that are taken to fix the problem. He gives us an example.
And there was this doctor called John Snow, who identified, who said, well, there was many people dying of cholera, but nobody knew what was causing the cholera. And he did a study to say that there is a certain, from this community, the people from there dying of cholera, and he recognized that the people, all of them were drinking water from one source. And the source of this water was contaminated with excreta, and the people drinking the water, people were dying. And he said, at that time, people used to have this pump. They pump the water from this well. And he removed the pump handle. They removed the pump. He got them to remove the pump handle. It's a public health measure, and the epidemic just subsided because he did that intervention.
It has been a challenge to get Dominicans to its current level in healthcare.
You had to get him to function as a team. You understand? If you didn't, because if everybody's doing his own thing and if nobody was talking to each other, you would not get very far. So first and foremost, people had to understand the objectives of where they wanted to go. What is it, the government, the plan for primary health care? This is the plan, and all of us must work towards this plan. So everybody must work towards this common objective. We set targets, and everybody must say, okay, well, my target for this component of health, I want to reduce the incidence of parasitic infection by 50%, and everybody works towards it. And how are you going to do this? You're going to help people build the toilets. You're going to tell people that they've got to wash their hands. You're going to tell people that they've got to wear shoes.
He's first to better help himself in his advancement in the public service by taking every opportunity that arose in his field to further his education.
Extensive training, and that's one of the reasons why I was able to use those skills the experiences that I had to help train a lot of people. If you talk to most of the health professionals, nurses and that, they'll say, oh yes, Mr. Fabian taught us team building. And I also used my experience and knowledge to train other people in the region. I trained people in St. Lucia. I trained people in St. Vincent in team building. And when I went to work in Anguilla, for example, I helped develop a training manual for supervisors, and I trained them in team building.
One of his favorite sayings was, "You must bloom where you are planted." Mr. Fabian has gone from being a sanitary inspector to a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health to health minister and later parliamentary representative for the Grand Bay constituency. Further details will be given on his burial. Students of the St. Martin's Primary School all had a reason to celebrate as 3 students excelled at the Grade 6 National Assessment Examinations, which was held in May. 12-year-old Selena Packard, who was the island scholar, says she feels very happy that she came out the top student on the island, which was expected of her. Ms. Packard pointed out that since from kindergarten, she was always told to do her very best so she can succeed at the exams and always took additional classes after school, which helped.
Well, try your best and try to study your own way, how you feel comfortable in doing it. Don't try to take a whole lot of people's advice because you'll get confused. Do it how you feel comfortable.
She says she wants to go to the convent high school as it is of her opinion that it is the best school. Ms. Packard went on to say that she wants to be an astronomer as it is something she was always fascinated with. Second on the island was Miss Corinne Williams, who says although she worked hard to become number 1, she is still happy with the performance at the exam. Ms. Williams also added that the additional classes after school was a contributing factor to her success. She also had a message to the youth.
To study very hard if you want to excel, to become a better person, and don't develop I don't care attitude.
4th place Miss Kelma Roll pointed out that although the exams were very hard, she was prepared.
By studying hard every day I went home. I had classes from Monday to Saturday, but I still did well.
So do you think that the extra classes assisted you in the success?
Yes.
Ms. Roll said also that she wants to attend the convent high school since the work is challenging and she loves a challenge. Ms. Wilma Roll, the mother of Kelma Roll, pointed out that she is very proud of her daughter and her achievement in the exams.
We did a lot of work, stayed up late at night, revising and going through papers to make sure that we get certain things you just have to memorize it. They're saying, don't cram, but there are certain things you must know it. There's no exception to that. So we continued working from day one. As soon as September, she went into 6-1. It was work from day one, and Mrs. Bonnie did an excellent job. She worked with the children from day one. She never lose her pace. It was continuous work. And at the end, everything came out good. It was successful. With 28 scholarships in the class. That's telling the teacher already worked hard.
She added that parents must play active roles in their children's education so they can succeed. Ms. Paula Williams, who is the mother of Corinne Williams, says this success runs in the family, as her son was the island scholar in 2009 and now her daughter came second in 2012, so her son set the stage for his sister to follow.
I really want to thank the teachers because they really worked hard. Sometimes as parents we get busy and when you come home you're tired. So she was determined to, she's a child, she would stay up to 12 o'clock in the night doing her work. She won't go to bed until the homework is complete and she gets it right. She was very meticulous, she's very focused, very humble child, very simple and humble child. And she loved God a lot, she likes to read the Bible and so on. So though she's not a mingler, she doesn't really mingle, don't have too many friends, but she's really focused and determined. And I think with God on her side, she was able to do well. I'm really, really happy for her.
Ms. Williams also had a message to all parents.
Well, parents, parenting can be something very demanding, but rely on God. Our parents did a good job in raising us, and I think we just have to follow in that footstep, discipline them, make sure they pray, make sure they love God. They do things at home too, all that is part of the discipline. They clean your room, they sweep the yard, help in keeping the house clean. So parents, it's a difficult job, but bit by bit, and being kind and polite, also being very strict, keeping them on the right path.
Class teacher of the grade 6-1 of the St. Martin's Primary School, Ms. Frances Bonny, says that she is proud that her hard work led to the success of the students in her class.
I have 33 children in my class, and out of the 33, we received 28 scholarships, 4 bursaries, and 1 class.
How did you think that your teaching skills led to the accomplishments of the scholarships and bursaries?
Well, what I did, I used many methods in teaching. Sometimes, whenever I teach a subject or topic, and I observe after testing the children that they did not perform to my satisfaction, then I would try something, I would use another method.
Ms. Frances added that she received a lot of encouragement from her principal and also other teachers. It was truly a cause for celebration on Sunday, June 24th, as the community of Marigot celebrated the Feast of St. Peter's. The event started off with a church service held at the Marigot Roman Catholic Church, which was hosted by parish priest Father Conan Shillingford, where worshippers sing and dance while praising God. In delivering the sermon, Father Shillingford strongly reminded the villagers of the importance of praising God and always making Him first in everything that they do.
Yes, brothers and sisters, there is pride and there is suffering. Yes, brothers and sisters, there is envy and hatred. But brothers and sisters, those things are never greater than the blood, than the goodness, than the glory, than the power, than the might of the Almighty and the true and everlasting God. That is what prevails in the name of the Lord. And brothers and sisters, our trust, therefore, is in God, because victory is assured in the name of Jesus. And for those who are faithful brothers and sisters, your God knows what you need before you ask.
Following the church service, all of the fishermen boats were all blessed by Father Shillingford, who also delivered a very strong sermon while blessing the boats. A wreath was laid out at sea in remembrance to the fishermen who lost their lives while out at sea carrying out their profession. Honorable Edison James, the parliamentary representative for the Marigot constituency, in thanking the fishermen for their contributions, reminded the fishermen how important safety is in fishing.
That reminds us of the hazardous nature of the exercise that they're involved in. You always hear that sea no have no branch. So when they're out there, there's no branch that they can hold on to if they miss a fall. So we know that they are, every time they push out their boats, then they are in serious threat, if you like, danger. But they also, I'm sure, have caught on too, if they have not done so yet, I hope they will catch on, to the need for them to protect themselves. And whatever protective gear that they're advised to use, that they use it, whatever precaution they are advised to take, that they take it.
Mr. James also advised the fishermen that they must be their brother's keepers, especially when out at sea, and keep in touch to know where each other is at all times.
So I want to encourage all of us to recognize the importance of the fisher folk in our community. And I want also to recognize those fishermen who have led the fight, have led the program over the several years.
Chairman of the Marigot Village Council, Mr. Kenneth Samuel, said it is very important that persons do not take the fishermen for granted, seeing how hazardous the job is.
There are times when I say, man, you cannot take the fishermen for granted when they reach back. Because I mean, just put in the water just for a couple minutes, and I mean, I already start to frighten. Much less for them not doing that all their life. People, I want to let you know clear, when the fishermen come here, do not question the price that they give for the fish, because it's a sacrificial task. Just to be out there, to throw a net, to be balancing that type of thing. Even the media guys can even attest to that, you know, because it's not an easy thing.
Mr. Samuel also sounded a call to the various leaders to make their contribution, reminding the villagers how important unity is. President of the Northeast Fisheries Cooperative, Mr. Richard Charles, says the fishermen need to be recognized for their contribution towards fishing in the community.
We also thought it was necessary for this type of activity to bring the fishermen together because we are a bit divided. We are very divided, especially in this part of Dominica. And I think it is important that we try to unite. We try to unite ourselves so as to do things for the benefit of all of us, for the benefit of the fishing industry. So these were some of the reasons why we stepped forward to organize this.
The wife of the late Patrick Benjamin, who died on January 13, 2012, while out at sea, was presented with a hamper on behalf of her husband, donated by J. Stephens and Company Limited. Awards were given out to the outstanding fishermen, which includes Mr. Gerald Giss, Mr. Irvins Roberts, Mr. Embot Alexander, and Mr. Wilson Tyson. Productive fishermen were Mr. Carter Christmas, Mr. Gilbert Burton, and Mr. Raleigh Sanderson.
Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Mighty God, we come to this place, we come, Lord,